Hello, Dale again at Dale's Auto Service. I want to touch base on another thing. One of the most common things that we see here at our repair shop, it's not real common, but it happens quite often. Everybody out there wants to try to save a little money, and hey, I don't blame you. Things are expensive nowadays, and every penny you can save, it's good. But one of the things that occurs a lot, everybody gets that little dreaded check engine light, amber on their dash, and you need to find out what's going on, because basically what that check engine light is telling you that something in the computer system, that is the engine control system of your car, or transmission, or ABS brakes, or traction control, that little light tells you that you have an issue. But there's a lot of systems that light is monitoring, and it could be a lot of different things. And what people tend to do is, there's a place, and I don't want to mention the name, but there are some part stores out there that you can pull in, and they'll come out with a little handheld scanner and plug it into your car and pops up a code, and they'll walk you inside the part store and says, hey, it's this part, that's what you need. And unfortunately, it's not that simple. I wish it was. What that light is doing is it's directing you to a specific failure that the computer is picking up. And I give you an example. We had a customer come in, and he had brought in the code from the facility he got it from, and he says, I've got the part, and this is the part. It's a evap solenoid, and he says, I want this replaced. And we're like, well, how do you know that's what's wrong with it? Well, I went to so-and-so, and they told me this, and I bought the part, and I don't want to put it in. It looks really hard to get to. Will you put it in? And I explained to the customer, listen, that's just giving you direction, saying that this component is having an issue. It could be a data stream issue in the computer. It could be wires going to this component from the computer. It could be this. There could be multiple things wrong. Are you sure you don't want us to test it? No, got the part. So of course we put it in, and guess what? It didn't solve this failure. And in my previous thing, I touched base on that you need data to actually be able to repair these cars. And basically what these are is that I have on my little shelf here on my counter are data streams that are flow charts that you need to follow to confirm that this is the issue with the car. And this one's a short one. This one only has 4 pages, gives you a little diagram on how to test the component. And what it ended up being, it was not a bad component, it was actually a bad wire where it had rubbed through and corroded the wire, and that set the code. And that's what was the cause of it. Some of these repair procedures are pretty entailed, can take up to an hour and a half, and a lot of people don't understand some of these components are stuffed up underneath the dashboard, buried inside the engine compartment, and they're very hard to get to. You got to take things apart to get to them. And that's one of the reasons why some of the estimates or the diagnostics you get might be expensive, because it's the issue of getting to the components, not actually testing them. Unfortunately, too, a lot of these components are solid state, and the manufacturer's test will bring you to a component, and it'll tell you replace with a known good part. There's no way to test the part. And if you put that part in and you still have an issue, the test procedure will say continue forward. And I had mentioned a little bit in my last little clip video that there's a thing called diagnostics, and this will give you an idea. This is just a little graph that says, hey, this is the most common part replaced, and that is this part. And unfortunately on this gentleman's car, that wasn't the cause. So my suggestion to you is, if you go to those friendly part stores and have that test, I would ask them, do you have a flow chart so I can confirm that's the problem? If they don't, and you want to do the diagnostic, a lot of times you can go to your local library, pull up the data that you need, and do the testing. I hope that helped you. Have a great day.